Good evening, everyone. I'm your host, Ruchita. Welcoming you all to NutriLIV 360's today's session. We have joined in to listen to facts that can help us make the right decisions. We're here to learn the harsh realities and their impacts on our health. Are all fats bad? Are we having enough or are we having too much? And most importantly, what is the correct ratio of omega 3 is to omega 6 that we should be consuming? We're going to understand all this and so much more from a fine panel of speakers today. To start the session, it is my honor and privilege to invite Farooq Tarapur. He, ladies and gentlemen, is an Olympian, two-time world champion in sailing, and has had an active sporting career of 40 years. He's won innumerable awards, including the Chhatrapati Shivaji Award and the Arjuna Award. But most importantly, he's a mentor to each and every one of us on this group with the mission Har Ghar Healthy, Har Ghar Medicine Free. Let's listen to him very, very carefully. Over to you, Farooq.
Thank you, Ruchita, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to this exciting Monday session. Some of you must be wondering that why do we have this Monday session every Monday? Okay. And the answer is very simple, because there is so much of information and so many things that you need to learn that if you just give it in sort of one session, it's going to have no value. So you need to be connected, to a community, and you need to keep visiting and revisiting this. At least, give your health invest just 45 minutes every week so that, you can get the right kind of information, coming into your mind so that it can help you make the right decisions as to what what you need to do and what you don't need to do. When you come on this community, and be here every Monday, I can assure you that you will still do a lot of wrong things, but you will do less of the wrong things. And when you do less of the wrong things, it's going to hurt you less. Now, today's topic about omega-3 is very dear to my heart because I have personally experienced it, I've personally felt it, I've personally taken a lot of omega-3, and I know the power of omega-3 and how it helps in reducing inflammation in the body. When I was competing at the Asian Games level, even at the age of 50, I was taking huge quantities of omega-3. Roughly, our events used to last for a week or so. And I distinctly remember that those 10 days, my consumption of omega-3 were at least 10 capsules a day. So that the recovery period would be very good, the next morning when you're competing in the next set of races. And every time when you go ahead and you're moving up the league and getting into semifinals, finals, the stress and the strain becomes higher and higher. So we were very conscious about this fact and consuming a lot of. So I know the power of omega-3. Now, why do we need this omega-3? That whatever we eat, okay, all the oils that we use, we get plenty of omega-6. Now, the bare minimum ratio, you get a lot of information on social media, and I can tell you that most of it is not accurate. But the most accurate information is that you need at least a 1:5 or 6 ratio. That means for every 5 or 6 quantities of omega-6 that you are consuming, okay, you need to consume at least one portion of omega-3. That means for every 6 grams of omega, 5 to 6 grams of omega-6, you must consume at least 1 gram of omega-3. And, some of you who are new here, or even if you're old and, attending this session, must be wondering that why, what's so great about omega-3 and why is it so important? Today, it is, even in party talk, the word inflation comes up. Everybody talks about inflammation. And, in just asking them a few questions, I realized that nobody has a clue of what inflammation is. It's nice party talk, like, okay, this guy had a blockage, he got a stent, he got 1 stent. Somebody says, oh, this guy got 2, and, there's a little bit of a competition going on over there, and suddenly they forget, everything about inflammation. They have no clue of what inflammation is. So let's, do a little bit of a deep dive today to really understand what really is inflammation and why omega-3 is so critically important in your overall good health, your cardiovascular health, and keeping the inflammation down. All the stress that you're getting and all that is, common sense. But let's try and understand what exactly is inflammation. Inflammation is your body's natural response to injury, okay, to infection, to harmful bacteria. It actually protects and heals your body. But there is a catch. If this whole process, that if this positive inflammation goes on for a longer period of time, and if it misfires, okay, then it becomes chronic inflammation. And that leads to some serious health challenges like, cardiac problems, diabetes, cancer, and all these kinds of things come up. So there are basically two kinds of inflammation. One is acute inflammation, right? And that is like, you just are moving around, in the kitchen, you cut your finger or something, there's blood flowing out, there's immediately, your body produces inflammation and tries to heal that. That's great, and that process is extremely good and healthy for your body. And that's why you need to understand that inflammation is not just a bad word, because most of them make it out as a bad word. But as I mentioned, that if it misfires and it continues over a long period of time, due to smoking, due to drinking, due to excessive stress, due to bad food habits, due to bad gut microbiome imbalance, so you need to understand that there's something known as chronic inflammation. And when you get trapped all of a sudden into chronic inflammation, it starts doing great harm to your body. And over a short period of time, it doesn't even take too long. Over a short period of time, all of a sudden, you realize that you are getting trapped in the medicine trap. You got hypertension, you got blood pressure, you start taking pills that causes even more inflammation, that causes more side effects, then it leads to diabetes, so you start taking some tablets. So this whole process goes on and on. So understand why why consumption of omega-3 is so important, and why you need to know for what you are doing, how many omega-3s you need to consume and when you need to consume. 100 years ago, I don't think many people had refrigerators. Okay. Probably 50 years ago, it was a luxury. Wow, I remember, you used to get that black telephone, which used to be stuck to the wall, and there used to be a refrigerator. Yeah. Okay. And it was still treated as a little bit of a luxury. But soon after that, it all became an automatic necessity. And the same thing has happened over here with omega-3 because of our, our food being adulterated, there's genetic modified food and all that. The inflammation in our body is getting higher and higher. Stress is getting higher and higher. And that's the reason you need to understand this. Omega-3, friends, is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. So make sure you understand this subject properly and you consume this properly so that you and your loved ones remain in good health. Today, you're very fortunate to be, hearing this whole session from somebody who has been on the other side of the inflammation. Okay. And after she's got connected to this community, she's managed to solve not all of it, but at least some of it, and is enjoying a much better quality of life than what she was about 5 years ago. So listen to Veda very carefully, because what she has said will have tremendous impact on not only your health, but the health of your family and your friends around you. Over to you, Veda.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Farooq. And that was a masterclass in itself.
the first 9 minutes. If people you have missed it, you have to catch hold of the recording tomorrow. It'll be there on the YouTube channel. But then I learned so much in these last 8 minutes. Thank you for not just the last 8 minutes, but transforming all our thought process, all and eventually, making us think, making us change our habits. Okay, friends, let me share my screen. Today, we're going to talk about, of course, fats, good fats. But before we talk about the good fat, which is omega 3, which Farooq just spoke of, we will also go over some harsh realities. Life may, as we always say, there are a lot of harsh realities, but today we will stick to those surrounding food habits, and our lifestyle habits, right? Some of them that impact our health, our physical health, our mental health, right? So, what are they? What are those very high level, harsh realities that adversely impact us? Sugar, no brainer, high fat, processed foods, um, alcohol and smoking consumptions. Now, sorry, smoking, the damage due to smoking, alcohol consumption, and smoking. All of this, if you see, are modern lifestyle related issues, right? So let's start off with hidden or sugar. How does sugar actually impact us? Today, we are going to be talking about the negative impacts or the adverse impacts because of all of these. You've already gone through sessions on how you can take steps in terms of gut health, in terms of protein, carbs. Today, you will see on fats. You've gone through micronutrients. So coming back, sugar. It's not just what you see or you take specifically externally added to your chai or to your juices or to any of your food, but there is hidden sugar as well in many of the packaged foods that you get. Now, these are what you see on the screen. Obviously, some of them without the labels, forget. Even if you go, whatever food that you have in your house today, which is ready-made, right? Go and look at the, small fonts there behind. I can't even read them anymore now. Even with my specs, I can't unless I flash a huge light. But you will see there are hidden sugars, right? These are glaring numbers that you see. And at times, there used to be times when I used to just eat a whole dairy milk, a whole bar. Imagine the amount of sugar along with, butter or fats that I would have been eating unknowingly. Yes, you know that, okay, too much sugar is not good, but you don't know. Imagine one Mars bar having 6.5 cubes of sugar. Forget Mars and all. That though we know, right? Flavored water. 3 cubes of sugar in flavored water. Your light yogurt, which is probably with low fat yogurt, will also have 3 cubes of sugar, right? Have to be aware of the marketing tactics and labels. Now, even a chips packet will talk about nutrition, right? But actually, what is the hidden fat? What is the hidden sugar? What is the hidden preservative behind that? That is even more important for us to understand. For example, if I look at this cheese block of cheese or any of those, calcium, good source of calcium, likha rahega upar, but if you see the amount of sodium inside, because it needs to be preserved for a longer time, hence the sodium is required. And because of that, you're actually already crossing. So, what this picture is actually telling you is 53% of your daily limit is already covered by that piece of, block of cheese. Fortified waters, which in bold letters you may see that बहुत सारे vitamins and minerals है इस पानी के bottle में, but actually it would also have 64% of your, it could. Okay. So the bottom line is read. Think before you eat something, see before you buy, right? And be aware of what it has and what it can impact. So if you take a very high amount of sugar, like for example, especially during your childhood, and हम बोलते हैं कि ठीक है बच्चे हैं, बच्चे खा लेंगे, they will they'll run, they'll what do you say, they'll expend the energy and all, but then those habits continue because it is very difficult once you acquire a sweet tooth to actually stop eating sweets unless you get a nightmare and that pushes you to stop eating sweets, right? Here, what we teach in this program is be aware so that when you're eating it, अगर आप एक पूरा लड्डू खा रहे हो, तो एक पूरा लड्डू के बदले में probably you're just tasting it, and then eventually you know that okay, for sure I'm not going to have a sweet after, even taste a sweet probably late evening or night because that's going to harm me even further, right? That's what you learn here. Negative effect on overall health because जब आप high sugar intake लेते हो तो it increases the risk of chronic diseases, right? And leads to nutrient deficiencies also because your gut health gets impacted with high sugar. When your gut health gets impacted, आपका gut lining is at risk, which increases your nutrient deficiencies. Okay. Negative impact on liver health. It also causes mood swings. एक दिन से नहीं, दो दिन से नहीं, but then on a continuous basis, if you're going to be taking high sugar intake, it is going to impact. Again, you may not see the impact जब आप when you're in your teens or early 20s, or I think now you're seeing the impact even early. But I remember we used to not see the impact, or our parents didn't see the impact till 60s or 70s. My generation, we have started seeing the impact late 30s and 40s. I know the next generation is already seeing the impact in early 20s, right? Impact of high sugar on gut health, as I said. Imbalance in gut bacteria. अगर आप sugary foods ज़्यादा लेते हो, तो your bad bacteria or your firmicutes increase. So there is an imbalance. If there is an imbalance, it disrupts your gut motility. मतलब it will lead to constipation. You may not get regular or good quality stools. It will also lead to weight gain and gut dysbiosis, which is not having the nutrients getting absorbed, but actually your pathogens or the toxic material actually getting into your bloodstream, right? Now that was about sugar. शुगर के जैसा दूसरा क्या है? प्रोसेस्ड फूड. प्रोसेस्ड फूड में क्या होता है? टू प्रिजर्व, you need to process so that readily available stuff है. Of course यहाँ पे bread और biscuits है, but there are so many other processed food that we are used to taking today, right? Processed food में क्या हो जाता है? Lack of nutrients because the fiber is completely depleted. It gives you empty calories. अगर आप देखो तो bread, forget white bread, brown bread again. Very, very rarely if you see, actually again, go and read the ingredients, go and read the labels. Don't just read the, big fonts. Go and read the minute fonts behind actual ingredients and the percentages, right? Not all brown breads actually have fiber in it. Some of them have like 80% maida, 20% wheat, and hence it is called a brown bread. Okay, artificial additives are added. So all the processed food, actually biscuits. Okay, unfortunately, a lot of bakery food, almost all of the bakery food is not very good for your gut. It causes digestive issues, imbalance gut micro. Your bad bacteria is happiest when it gets processed food क्योंकि उसको काम ही नहीं करना पड़ता है. It keeps, you can just imagine it this way, and that is how I imagine it, and stop myself from eating more and more processed food or eating more sugar or eating high fatty food. Okay, it is addictive in nature. Now, how does the addiction come? Sugar or processed food, all of this is simple carbs. जब आप simple carbs लेते हो, right, you get high on energy, so you love it, right? Because it's giving you that high and all of that. But at the same time, वो फटाफट आपका energy levels deplete होता है. If you've not attended the session on carbs, go to the recordings and you can have a look at it. immediately your energy levels go down. You start feeling hungry, and then when nothing is around, you start, you blink it some fast food, you order some fast food, you go down, have some chai with biscuits at the tapri, right? And hence the addiction cycle. It goes on and on, right? Then alcohol consumption. हम सबको पता है कि it is wrong in moderation, whatever it is. Start off in moderation, but then a lot of us, अरे stress है तो चलो, lots of bahanas of course are there. But let's see what happens when there is a high amount of alcohol consumption, right? एक तो it is calorie dense. So no, it's not going to be helping you with any nutrition. It's only calories. It adversely impacts your sleep. You may think that, okay, दारू पी के बहुत अच्छी नींद आती है. Your quality of sleep is disturbed. Okay, and eventually there is a high impact on your memory. You will see that on extended alcohol consumption, even if you're having once a week, weekend may or whatever, you will see that long-term memory, in the long term, your memory gets impacted. Alcohol also causes reduction in your immunity, okay, and hence nutritional deficiencies as well. Increased risks of accidents. That's but obvious because you are not in your complete senses, right? Increased vulnerability to disease. As I said, when you have excessive alcohol or even on a continuous basis, your immunity drops and hence you are vulnerable to catch any infections and diseases, right? Then, of course, a pregnant woman, it's absolutely not it is almost banned, I think, to be drinking alcohol because it will also impact the baby inside. Effects on the heart. It causes heart diseases, cardiovascular, impacts and all of that. Smoking, it of course changes your physical appearance as well. Of course, we know about the issues that it impacts your lungs. Secondhand smoke also impacts people who are doing, passive smoking. हमें लगता है कि only the person who is inhaling, but because that person is exhaling as well, it impacts a person standing around. Multiple health risks of smoking, cancer, tuberculosis, your lungs, of course. But again, coming back, immediately if you see people who are smoking versus non-smokers, you will see that a smoker looks slightly older in terms of the face, skin, all of it. Immediately you will see there's a difference in physical appearance, right? Accelerated aging process. You are aging much faster. Impaired metabolism, so your and nutrient absorption. Now, because of alcohol, smoking, both of these things, nutrients don't get absorbed very easily into your blood, and hence your what do you say? Your immunity also goes down, right? Decrease microbial diversity in your gut health, so it is impacting your gut as well. Same thing here, altered microbiome composition. So your what should ideally be good bacteria should be about ideally जो बोलते हैं 85% bad bacteria is required also for some functions, but that should just be 15%. It will go higher with smoking, right? Now coming to the extended topic of fat, right, which is your fifth harsh reality. Fat comes in various forms. Now, fat is also a macronutrient. It is required. But what Farooq was also talking about, we get fat naturally in food items, correct? But the maximum amount that we get is omega-6. Okay. But we also need omega-3, which is your good fat in layman terms, right? But we don't get that very easily available in the food that we eat, correct? What we get is, again, processed fats. Salads often use, okay, now when you're ordering salad, please be wary of what dressing you're using. A simple lemon with, say, a slight drizzle of olive oil and pepper, or your herbs, that should be the best dressing. Anything else, I'm pretty sure it will contain some fat. Any of your mayonnaise is something that I have completely given up after coming onto this program. Before that, we used to have it. I used to actually order. We used to have that bottle of mayonnaise and some salad dressing also. वेट लॉस के नाम पे सलाद खाती थी with the salad dressing, and then I realized that dressing में ही high fat है, right? That's what you learn here. Processed snacks, your chips, your wafers, anything, even if they say that it is air fried, you will see that there will be a high amount of salt or sugar content, right? Now, granola bars and energy bars do look for hidden fats. It may not be all varieties, some may be good, but very rarely will you see some, very good energy bars. As much as possible, stick to food that is home cooked. Stick to food that has been prepared in front of you, right? Sugar-free ice creams and sugar-free cookies, you have this sweetened with sugars, substitutes or artificial sweeteners, which are again not good for you on a long-term basis. Restaurant meals, again, these are things that you don't have control over, right? So these are high fat and not good for your health. Now, what are the different fats, or jo khane mein mil raha, which are the good ones, which is bad fats? Good fats, avocados, eggs again in limited quantities. Of course, you can't have too much of the yellow part. It is good for you, but not too much. Coconut oil, raw nuts, olive oil, salmon, flax seeds, all of this are good, but again in limited quantity, right? Um, Bad fats, margarine, French fries, anything fried, anything that needs extra upar se oil, not required. You hardly need, if you have attended the portions, what is your portion of fat that you need in every meal is hardly less than half this, your thumb size hai, utna oil included in the meal, not on top, right? So that's the amount that you need. So any pastries, crackers, all of these are bad fats. So these are something that you have to absolutely limit. Okay. What does fat do to your gut health? It lowers your digestion, high fats. It again impacts your microbiota, gut microbiota. जब आपका microbiota, that is your balance of good bacteria and bad bacteria, is impacted, what happens? It increases the gut inflammation. And when Fark beautifully explained how inflammation in itself is not bad, it is required, but when it gets aggravated, that's when it becomes uncontrollable, right? So your gut inflammation increases. When gut inflammation increases, what happens? It also causes weight increase. It also causes other issues. It causes your acid reflux. So it impacts your high fats, also impact bile production and absorption and movement of your gut waste. Okay, what are fats? Now let's come to understand. You understood the harsh reality of fats, but let's drill down further as to what are fats. As I said, it is one of the key macronutrients. Macro क्यों बोलते हैं? Manoj very beautifully explained macronutrients in the previous sessions with respect to carbs. Fat is also a macronutrient. Macro is because it is very largely available and it's also consumed in a much larger portion than some of the micronutrients, right? They're also concentrated source of energy, just like carbs. Fats are also source of energy. Fats are a subset of lipids. Okay, they are like your backup battery. तो अगर आपने कुछ खाना भी नहीं खाया, तो your body starts disintegrating the fats that it has accumulated for emergency periods of time when your body doesn't have energy to actually, for consumption, right? The fats, unlike what people think, it's not just non-vegetarian sources of food or animal sources of food that contain fat. Even paneer, for example, which is vegetarian, has fats. And hence, tofu has become much more famous as a replacement or as a similar food as paneer because paneer has much higher fat content. Functions of fat, energy storage, cell function, it helps in building cell health, right? Brain function. Omega-3 is an absolute no-brainer for very good brain function, insulation and protection from heat and cold, right? Or from immunity issues, nutrient absorption. We have a lot of fat soluble vitamins, right, that are present. So you need fats for absorbing the nutrients into your bloodstream. Okay. So it's not that you don't need any fat at all, but you need limited and a combination of both good and bad. Means I won't say good and bad fat, I'll say omega 6 and 3, right? It's also helpful in hormone production. It gives cushioning. So you need, so there are, if I look at it, there's subcutaneous fat, there is visceral fat. Subcutaneous fat is something that you can see visually under your skin, under your outer exterior level. Visceral fat is the fat that is surrounding all your vital organs. So you need some amount of visceral fat. If you stand on the weighing machine, the digital scale that gives you all those readings, you will see visceral fat, anything above 9% is giving you those warning signals ki wo zyada ho gaya hai. So visceral fat provides that cushioning around your organs so that they are protected. They also help in regulating hunger and satiety. So if you have the right fat, and as I said, whenever you're hungry, even if food is not available, your body starts consuming the fat that is stored inside, right? Dietary, that is fat that is non-essential, which is your saturated fat, monosaturated fat, and trans fat. All of these are very, very readily available in the food that we consume on a daily basis, right? And what is the dietary essential fat? Essential fat, which is not readily available, okay? And we need to actually look at and eat, which is your polyunsaturated fat, which is sources from sesame, sunflower, corn, soybean, nuts, and seeds, liquid at room temperature. And hence, nowadays, what is preferred is consumption of cold pressed oil rather than oil that is, extracted from heating. Okay. Two types of essential fat, which is omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-6 again is found in much larger quantities in the food that we get, sources of food, whereas omega-3 is found in much lesser quantities. Okay. We'll focus more on the polyunsaturated fats, which is the omega-3 and omega-6. Omega-3 you will get in the non-vegetarian sources, and a little bit that you will get in vegetarian sources is from chia seeds, flax seeds, and walnuts. That's why you will say nowadays many households now are consciously having, flax seeds and chia seeds readily available. But again, you have to keep it in mind that you can't have huge amounts, right? Walnut आप ज़्यादा नहीं खा सकते हो. It will have a portion of omega-6 as well. So you really can't increase the quantity of walnuts that you can have. Now the main difference, omega-3 comes in, there are three different acids in this. One is ALA, EPA, and DHA, three of them. In the vegetarian sources, you will see ALA, you will not get EPA and DHA in flaxseed, chia, and walnut. Okay, you will find EPA and DHA unfortunately only in the marine sources, right? Hence, they say fish is very good for consumption. I'm not telling vegetarians to consume actually fish, but you'll see what we are recommending a little later. Associated with various health benefits, which is heart, anti-inflammatory, and brain function. In fact, as Farooq also alluded to it, I also believe very strongly with experience and through this program, understanding the benefits, this is almost like a magic pill. Of course, just eating this is not enough. Exercise also matters, everything else also matters, but it helps in many, many, many functions, not just balancing your fats, right? Omega-6 sources you get from eggs, vegetable oils, flaxseed again. Then it is again split into linoleic acid and pardon my pronunciation, but these two acids. This contributes to your cell structure, function, and immune response. Now, obviously, this is important, but the ratio, it is very, very important to maintain your omega-6 to omega-3 fatty acids ka ratio. Okay. Yeah. So as I said already in the previous slide, plant-based sources mostly have ALA. They do not have EPA and DHA. They don't convert. जब हम खाते हैं तो वो conversion उतना नहीं होता है to ALA, which our body wants. Limited bioavailability. Nutrient profile are okay. Along with, say, for example, take chia seeds, for example, right? You also get protein and fiber from there and vitamins and minerals. More sustainable and have a lower environmental impact naturally, correct? You're not destroying anything. Now, marine sources, on the other hand, are the sources of EPA and DHA, which is also required by your body, right? Which is absolutely, especially for your brain health. Then direct consumption and conversion, it will immediately convert into EPA and DHA, whatever you consume. Provide preformed, and then nutrient profile gets high quality protein. So along with those sources, when you're eating, say for example, fish, okay, you're getting your omega-3 fatty acids, which is your EPA and DHA, but you're also getting a high quality protein, right? Overfishing, the only issue is much of the omega-3 that you're getting and from the chemists, what happens is it's more of overfishing, killing of fishes, or that kind of, so it's kind of harming the marine ecosystem. That's your imbalance, a little bit of imbalance that is created. Balance between omega-3. Okay, what's the ratio, right? What is the ratio that we actually need? Either it needs to be somewhere 1:2, 1:5, ideally, okay, of omega-3 versus omega-6 and omega-3, yeah, 1:5. But actually, because omega-6 is highly available in the food that we eat, we end up, getting into a ratio of 1:20. So that's how bad it is. And hence, you don't supplement with omega-6 because you're getting enough from the food, but you need to supplement. It's very difficult to reduce your omega-6. So the best way is increase your omega-3 so that the ratio improves, right? We have already talked about the below. Okay. So the benefits of having a higher amount of omega-3 is it helps in reducing your acute or aggressive inflammation, right? So omega-6, if you have a very high amount, it is anti-inflammatory, and this is pro-inflammatory. Okay. When you balance your fat, what happens? What is, or rather, imbalance? Let's talk about imbalance. 53% of deaths in India are due to non-communicable diseases that we know, right? We started this whole series of sessions talking about this. And obesity obviously is one of the underlying reasons, right? So what is obesity? It's basically imbalanced fat. Number of obese men and women, basically, if you see, are 4.4 million to 9.8 million men, and then you have almost 20 million women who are obese. Imagine the obesity levels, right? So we are in a danger zone. Obesity is causing diabetes. Obesity is causing a lot of gut issues. It is causing even depression. It is sleep issues, sleep apnea, whatnot, right? Sorry. So how can it help by including, say, omega-3, which is your good fats or healthy fats, or some of the good omega-6 as well in your morning breakfast? Morning nutrition is absolutely important. We need to have protein, we need to have fiber and your vitamins and minerals as well, but we also need to have healthy fats. So if you have healthy fats, how will it help with absorbing the nutrients also? So your nutrient depletion will reduce. It will increase your metabolic rate, because then fats will help. For protein and fats, when consumed, the right fats, when consumed, will increase your metabolic rate, because the body will need to start breaking it down, right? If you're eating carbs, or especially simple carbs, your body doesn't need to do any work, so your metabolic rate is not going to increase. Okay, bile secretion improves with eating the right fat in the morning. Energy expenditure will also increase, because your metabolic rate is increasing to break down the fats. Your energy expenditure will increase, and hence it will keep you away from obesity, right? Higher nutrient absorption, higher energy burning will ensure you're fit and healthy. Now, some facts about oil. Reheating of oil is an absolute no. That is what causes issues. And in fact, it is worsening the quality of fat that you're going to be putting. So if you're going to be, by any chance, you're actually going to be frying some food items, you actually have to throw that whole oil away. It will hurt your pocket, that's okay, but at least it will not hurt your or harm your body further, right? Hidden fats, as we talked about with respect to sugar as well, look for those hidden fats written there. Baked food items have usually vegetable oil, even if they are labeled as 0% trans fat, right? So avoid as much as possible, or have in smaller portions, much smaller portions. Cold press oil is something that you can opt for, but again, having said that, your quantity of cold press oil that you use has to be limited. And the best way, look at your cooking practices, look at the clean wok that we have, because there you can cook with just a drop of oil or without any oil as well. So you'll have to look at ways that you can change how you cook food, how what you eat, and when you eat as well, right? When do you supplement? Morning. Take your omega-3 in the morning to replenish the depleted reserves. Why does it get depleted? Because in the night when you're resting, all your nutrients get depleted. Your body is in repair mode. Evening, not late night, but preferably even if you have it post lunch, that's the best time. Again, supplement with your omega-3 to prevent fall of this during the night. Okay. Now, how much do you need? An ideal intake for an average male is 1600 milligrams of omega-3. For a female is 1100 milligrams. Okay. And how does it support? It helps with balancing your cholesterol, HDL and LDL levels, supports your heart health. If your cholesterol level is balanced, your ratios are balanced, eventually, and you're eating the right food, you're exercising, it's also supporting your heart health, brain health, joint flexibility, vision health, circulatory health. So many benefits just by this one omega-3. And I think this presentation will not do justice to the actual extensive benefits of omega-3, but this in itself sums up your key functions of your body, right? Now, if you were, as I said, if you were to actually eat the amount of omega-3 that is required by your body on a daily basis, you will then need to have 100 eggs in a day. Impossible. 31 you may be able to eat, but imagine what else are you adding on? Not just omega-3, the calories, 6,929 calories you would be eating. And obviously, that's not going to keep you full for the whole day, right? So, this is not possible, friends, and hence supplementation. Now, we have supplementation for you from NutriLIV, which is also ensuring sustainability. It is not, it is assuring that they're not harmfully impacting the environment. Now, why salmon omega-3 from NutriLIV is also, of course, it is giving you the required amount of omega-3. Okay, it is assuring in terms of sustainability, not harming the fish. Also, it is the only omega-3 that you will get, which is coming from the purest body water that is currently available on water body on available on Earth, which is from the Nordic seas. Okay. And you can easily make out, see, if you're, imagine you're getting omega-3 from fishes from the Arabian Sea. How polluted Arabian Sea is. I don't even have to say anything. I know every one of us knows. The fish have mercury in them. From वहां से थोड़ा बहुत नहीं, काफी बहुत impurities आ जाते हैं. And hence, what NutriLite does, they do their research, they take the effort and put the surety in and give us the purity. Okay, remove the impurity. So choose wellness over sweetness. Reminding you again, it's not just about fats, but also ensure you're not taking any hidden sugars. Say no to high fat food. Try to eat as much fresh food as possible rather than having canned food. For example, your canned tomato puree that has preservatives, that has sugar. Yes, it has. It's impossible to have, canned tomatoes without preservatives, right? So that's processed. Raise the bar of self-love, quit alcohol, elevate your well-being, quit smoking as well, and stay fit, stay healthy longer. Shine every day, start every day with gratitude and optimism. I'm grateful for the knowledge that I got on omega-3. Every time anyone actually has even a little bit of inflammation, is going to start falling ill or something, the first thing that I start increasing is omega-3. Okay. The salmon omega-3 that you just saw, the NutriLite one, and it helps. It truly helps. Have your nutrition on a daily basis, because just food that you're having is not enough. There is a nutritional gap, and hence understanding. We are not saying only eat supplements, eat the right supplements, but eat your food as well, both of it together. Visualize and set some clear intentions and goals for your health, because if health is not there, then nothing is there, right? Learn something new every day. Learning ensures that you are growing, ensures that there is meaning to life as well, and exercise daily. Without exercising, um, it is a balance, and that's what I learned. That's what is helping me also sustain, the transformation that happened many years ago. Why it is sustaining is because it's a balance of your positive mental attitude, the food, timing of food, your balanced plate, the nutrition that you're having, the learning, being in a community, and exercising. It's all of these put together that helps you stay fit. I hope this session on awareness of your, the harsh realities and understanding of the good fats has helped you. That's it from my side. Sorry, we went a little longer than usual. Back to you, Ruchita.
Thank you so much, Veda. I think you took your time, but you've explained it so beautifully. And I think it's very important for everyone to understand this very crucial subject. And I hope everyone's got their learning. Do revisit on the video recordings if you need to, share it with your friends, and we'll see you in the next session next Monday. Until then, good night, stay safe. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
have to watch the recording, because if you've missed Farooq's first 9 minutes, there was a lot of learning today. Yes, as always. Yeah. Thank you. Good night.
Bye.